Vaashi and Dear Friend, two Malayalam films which recently came out, both starring Tovino Thomas, and both the films were not received well. It mostly ranged from average to negative, and there were some people who liked both the films. Now I watched both of them, and I would say I like them both because both the films are very different and both of them leave you asking questions. So let's talk about that. Hello guys, I'm Nona Prince. Now before talking about the films, spoiler alert, the films have been out for some time, so if you haven't seen, you can watch them on Netflix. So continue watching only if you have seen the films. So first let's talk about Vaashi. It's a courtroom drama film, a genre I really like, directed by Vishnu G. Raghav, starring Tovino Thomas and Kirti Suresh. Being a courtroom drama, the film had, this rom-com vibe to it. And a lot of places I found it very cheesy, for my personal taste at least. But what I like about this film is the nuances, both in their relationship as well as the court case. A relationship between two people having same profession, the things that happen between them, both coming from two different communities, both are very different people. The way the issues are shown between them is done really well. And the court case dealing with section 375, which is so complicated. The definition of consent is so vague in it, and the case at hand has so much nuances, it really becomes impossible to figure out anything. We had a Hindi film called Section 375 dealing with the same thing. It is a law which is not really well defined because you cannot really define it, and because of which it can be misused many times and actually not deliver justice to people who want it. And both these narratives work individually really well, but when you try to merge them, you get some tonal inconsistencies. But I love the way how both the narratives are interlinked to each other. It's not just that the couple are fighting against each other in this case, but also that the male is fighting for the female and the female is defending the male. So the gender swap brings another element to it. I'll take one very interesting instance from the film where Tovino is trying to prove that without verbally saying it, people can come into relationship. You don't have to really give in writing that you love someone and the other person has to give it back. It is a self-understood thing. And when Kirti's character says no, it doesn't work like that, there should be at least a verbal declaration, Tovino says no, it's not needed. It can work without that also. And then they look at each other and you realize, oh shit, even they didn't propose to each other, they didn't say anything like that, they didn't had a verbal declaration, but they are in love, they are in a relationship. And that was a really good writing. And throughout the film, you are just trying to figure out who's right, who's wrong. And one thing I really like that they kept intact, what are lawyers? They always play in the gray area. For them, the truth is what they can prove in the court. And at no point it becomes a moral thing. It is their job and they have to do it. Now, because the film is merging two different genres together, there are moments where it should be very tensed, but it's very easygoing. And that tonal conflict is harming the narrative. Coming to the acting, again, it was on and off for me, especially in the courtroom scenes, where both of their performance felt very unnatural. It felt like they're delivering dialogues. Whereas outside the courtroom scenes, it worked very naturally, and I like the chemistry between both of them. I like that at the end, the film leaves you wondering who was right, who was wrong. They both definitely come together, but people they were fighting for, they are, put apart. And it's the last shot that makes the film too interesting. It is of the judge of the case sleeping at night, and we zoom in on a family picture where he's standing with his daughter. And suddenly, a question arises in your mind. Was the judge biased? Did he deliver a judgment based on the merit or based on what if it's her daughter? And I always love a film that leaves you wondering. Maybe that last shot means nothing, but maybe it does. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Now let's come to Dear Friend, directed by Vineet Kumar, written by Sharfu Suhas and Arjun Lal, with an ensemble cast. Now this film for me was very unique. I've never really seen this plot, these characters, this story coming together. It starts very easygoing, then it becomes too tensed and literally becomes a thriller, and then I have no idea where this film will go. It can go anywhere. And the film, really makes us question friendship. Who is your friend? Do you even know them? Or do you only know the time you spend with them? Is that enough to know someone's character? Let's take Tovino's character, right? What did he do? He helped Darshana's character and finally, they got married. He helped Arjun Lal's character, to get that app, to get the funding. He helped Basil Joseph's character when he needed money. And hearing these things, he sounded a great friend. But then, one day he just leaves them in despair. They all are wondering, what happened. In a way, all of their lives is disturbed. But it also showed one thing, that how much dependent all of them were on Tovino. And now that he's gone, they have to work things out and stand on their own. By the end of the film, all of them are at a better place in their lives. And even when we get a backstory, Tovino helped his friend, create music, helped his mother in that time. But for his own mother, he never did anything. So there's constant mystery around his character throughout the film, and we never get our answers. And let's come to that ending. What was that? We never got the reason. Why was he doing that? Who is he? What does he do? Why does he keep changing his life like this? And I've seen many people were upset about this. This is one of the reasons they didn't like it. But for me, honestly, I always felt it was never about him. It was never about who is Tovino, finding about the truth. It was about these friends. It was their story arc. And if you notice something, the film is never to the perspective of Tovino. It's always the friends or the people telling his backstory. So in this narrative, it's about these friends, what they are going through. It's not about Tovino, why he's doing that. That doesn't matter. Maybe when we get a film about his perspective, we'll get to know all that, but not in this film. As I said in the beginning, the film is very unique to me because the more you watch movies, the more you consume content, somewhere or the other you'll find, oh, this is something I've seen before, this is something I've seen in that film or series. But after a long time, I've seen something just totally unique. I haven't seen anything like this before. Maybe there are films like this, maybe there are some inspirations which I have not seen, but at this point of time, this was unique to me. And at the end, that's why I feel both these films are very misunderstood. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Until then, you can check out my video essay on Pudu with Mammootty. If you like this, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.
മതി മതി ഓവറാക്കി